And one sad that Steve Rowland's father passed away. So we are sending our condolences. Okay, I believe that's it. All right.
Steve and his family in your prayers. Our Sergeant at Arms, Joe Springer. Joe, would you introduce our visiting Rotarians?
Unless somebody snuck in that I didn't see, we have nobody listed. I think you just have the cream of the crop right here. It's what you have in your room today. So passing it back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, I'm excited about today. I am going to give you the mid-year report. It's an event. Hey, was that Corrigan groaning? Was that indigestion or you don't want to hear this? You're good? All right, I'm just checking. No, I'm excited about this. We have had an amazing first half of the year. With your help, we have created an ambitious agenda for social and services and speakers and a whole lot more. And now, as we round the base and we head into the remainder of the year, it's a perfect time to reflect on what we've done and on what's ahead. So over the next few minutes, I'm going to provide you a brief update on our financials. We're going to talk about our club goals, our club plans, and then our avenue directors and our president-elect will join me right here to answer any questions you've got and give you a little bit of color on what you can expect between now and the end of this fiscal year. And yes, we will have you out of here by or before 1:30. So why don't we, amen, we got some Baptists in the house. So why don't we start off with a look at our, I'm going to go to the financials first. Would you mind if we go to the next slide? That's perfect. I appreciate it. So let's start with the club financials. They reflect both our successes and our areas of improvement. You will see a total income shortfall of $2,621. The biggest contributor to that is member dues. We're under member dues by about $1,620, which obviously suggests a decline in membership renewals and or in recruitment. In terms of spending, I'm focusing on the biggest contributors. It appears that there's overspending on our events and socials by an amount of $1,791. I want to assure you that this overage is intentional and it will even out throughout the year. So our net deficit is a negative $1,466. We originally thought that we'd have a budget overage or surplus of this time, which was $1,446. But obviously we currently have a shortfall. And so you can see the overall, you can see where we're overall under budget by about $3,000 when you look at our under revenues and over expense. Now, while these expenses have been well managed, we have to continue to strengthen membership recruitment, as Jimmy Kelly said, and we continue to keep close oversight of our costs. But I want to assure you that the current shortfall is largely due to timing and cash flows. It's expected to balance out. We will remain diligent in achieving our membership and fundraising goals. And I'm confident we gave you a balanced budget when we started. I'm confident, frankly, not only am I confident that the budget will be balanced, I think you're going to see a surplus at the end of this fiscal year. Let's move on now to the prior slide, Carter. This is the slide, right? So if you go on DAC-BB, you'll see these goals that I submitted to the district at the beginning of the year. I'm not going to go through every one of them, but I'm going to give you some comments, highlights, commentary, and color on a few of them. Let's talk first about our service participation. Our Service Week projects have been a huge success and have put us on track to exceed our participation goal that you see on the slide. Moving down to social events, so far we've hosted 2 socials, one in August and one in October. We have an upcoming social at Intuition Ale next Thursday. I want to remind you all that our friend Larry Daly is coming back. Larry Daly is going to be at that event. He's going to be my guest, and I hope you're going to be there too, and you look forward to seeing him as much as I do. Our 550 cohort luncheon for members. These are members that have 5 years or fewer of Rotary service and are age 50 or younger. They met in Avondale this year, had an outstanding meeting, and some of the ideas that we're going to bring to you in the second half of this year were ideas that were generated through that social with the 550 cohort. You heard earlier about the women of West Jax Rotary. We call that group WOW. They've hosted 2 gatherings so far. Special thanks to our hosts, and I encourage more of you to support WOW by attending their events and offering your home for future events. So that makes 6 socials just in the first half of this year. Our goal on the chart is 9. We've already achieved 6. In terms of annual giving, you all have hit it out of the park. Our goal was $14,000. To date, you've donated $11,500 to the annual fund and $1,000 to Polio Plus, which is double our goal. Additional contributions are coming. We anticipate sending another $10,000 to the annual fund and at least another $500 to Polio Plus before the end of this fiscal year. You all know about our $1 Million Challenge. That was the Rotary challenge that this club would give $1 million over its life to the Rotary Foundation. Right now, we've got $991,993 that we have collected. We're going to surpass the $1 million goal because through your regular dues, we're going to generate another $10,000 before the end of this year. So we've accomplished the $1 million goal of giving. In terms of Paul Harris Fellows, we've gained 4 new Paul Harris Fellows from our challenge event. And you all know that this year we made our final installment and a check of support to the Emerald Trail. So exceeded our goals in annual giving, exceeded our goals in Polio Plus, exceeded our goal in the $1 Million Challenge, 4 new Paul Harris Fellows, although we're going to continue to build that number up. And you've done a great job in your contribution to the Emerald Trail. So give yourself a round of applause. Let's move on to service projects. We participated in the Salvation Army bell ringing and raised $882.56. In terms of hurricane relief, our members have donated $510 for disaster relief in North Carolina. Your toy donations through our Christmas party, we filled 2 carloads with toys that were donated to CHO. And in terms of our service hours, this is logged in since July 1st. Our members have contributed over 165 hours to service in this region in support of our community. You should be proud of this. Now let's move on to membership growth and retention. Our current membership is at 86. That's a net change of 3.5%. We are up 1 member. Now this is as of December 31st. So there are new members that haven't been added to this list. As of December 31st, we were up new member with Katie Quackenbush, but we were down 3. The good news is the new members that we have and have not been counted are Tanner Lee, who joined our club, and we're anticipating that Emily Butler and Justin Keatley are on their way. I mentioned earlier that I thought I was going to be introducing them this week. I'll probably be introducing them the next time we get together. I want to give special thanks to Ike Sherlock and to everyone who has helped recruit and sponsor new members. Ike, thank you very much. Now let's move on to youth and community engagement. Our Interact Club has successfully launched at Riverside High School. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later. There's grants that they're working on and field trips that they're working on, which you're going to hear more about. In terms of the media spotlight, our members, Dr. Randy Thornton and past President Mike Trumpler, were featured in a media news event alongside Mayor Donna Deegan and CEO of UF Health, Patrick Green, highlighting our Rotary's contributions to early childhood literacy and maternal health. They did a great job. You all remember seeing them on TV. We were talking about reading right from the start and all the work that this administration has done in the area of reading. New funding, because of their work, the Kids Hope Alliance committed $4,500 in a matching grant to support our Read Right from the Start initiative. So as I wrap up, I really want to give special thanks to our leadership. I've got a slide, if you wouldn't mind. This is the slide right here. This lists your board officers, your avenue directors, your committee chairs, and I just want you to take one moment and really give these guys a robust round of applause because they've done a great job. So, right now, I'd like to welcome our avenue directors. I don't know that everybody is here. We've got 5 chairs and we'll bring more up if we need them. I saw Dan Dodd. Dan is your club service avenue director. Dan, please come up. I know Will Tesh is here. He and I walked in together. Will, come on up. Drew Bisbee was right behind us. Drew, come on up. Mark Eldridge, the Reverend Mark Eldridge. I know, there he is. Mark, come on up. The rock star, Judy Matheny. She is our youth service avenue director. Judy, it's good to see you. All right. Very good. Let's get these guys around. And there's one guy that I want to join me because he's had a lot to do with the success. We've had some outstanding speakers so far this year. We've got some outstanding speakers that are planned for the second half of the year. And there's a lot of excitement coming. Let's give a round of applause to Haibar Sharma. Raul, come on up here. So, Carter, you've done a great job. If you wouldn't mind going back to the prior slide, there's some things up here that I thought we could talk about. So you all can't see this. But these are some things that we've got planned for the second half of the year. So I thought this would be a great opportunity for you to ask me questions about anything I've brought up so far. And then I'm going to ask these guys if they would give you a little bit of color on what we've got planned for the balance of the year. Is that all right? All right. And as I said, Haibar is here to help me with this thing. So thank you, sir. Haibar, I'm going to start with you. You've got an idea of doing a live event with one of our members. He's a member that we don't see that often. He's got a phenomenal life history. And would you mind taking a couple of minutes to tell us a little bit about what you've got planned? We'll get you invited to.
Thank you, President Tim, and special thanks to our Rotary Club as well. When President Tim first reached out to me about the importance of programming, we really put a lot of emphasis on the themes of Rotary each month. And especially being in the new year, I think it was really important for us to reflect on the legacy and the history of our club. And I think so much of our club is about history and tradition, but also being courageous enough to invite new membership. In that process, Alton Yates, longtime member of Rotary Club at West Jacksonville, will be a guest of ours during the month of February as we reflect on Black History Month, but also learning about Alton's upbringing, his service in the military, but also his knowledge of the importance of technology, information systems, and computers. And so Alton is a beloved member of our club. We're actually going to do a live interview at his house next month, and we'll be able to share the feed with you all here at the club as he reflects about his life's journey, his leadership journey throughout Rotary, and the experience of what Rotary has meant to him and his family. And so a lot of thought goes into programming as we invite speakers. We have pre-production meetings with all of our guests because it's also about setting an expectation of how we can connect the themes of Rotary, helping people. It starts at the youth level. We talk about membership and sort of the drive for the future. I think it's so important. You're going to hear from Judy Matheny later on about what we're doing at the grassroots level of bringing interact opportunities for high school students to understand the importance of service above self and sort of building that pipeline for the future. I can remember President Tim almost 7 years ago when I joined the Rotary Club at West Jacksonville. My first impression, my first ever engagement at Rotary was when our club celebrated its 50th anniversary. I remember vividly all of the past presidents who were called up on stage. I remember seeing President Kathy Cold, we talk about female leadership of our club, taking the podium and the microphone. I remember Rotary International President John Jern talking about the great work that our club has done. And for me, in my first impression, that was a baptism, if you will. And understanding the expectation that has been set by our club, we can never forget that. Some of Jacksonville's greatest leaders have assumed the leadership role here at West Jacksonville. And so as we think about inviting people into our club, it's also a reflection about what this club has accomplished and really setting that standard and inviting new opportunities for the future. And so that's what I wanted to share on this forum today with all of our club members. President Tim.
Raul, you've done a great job. We've had some phenomenal speakers. These last two were just outstanding. You've got other plans to bring in new speakers, but you've got a couple of dates that I know are still open. And I'm assuming you would be willing. There's probably folks right now that have ideas of speakers that they've heard, that they'd like to see. You're still open to any suggestions, any invitations that they might be able to help you to make, right?
President Tim, I certainly am. We follow a pretty strict Rotary calendar. We have assigned program chairs for each month. And so just submitting a recommendation about potential speakers is really the best recommended practice because a lot of thought and time goes into the type of speaker that we want to share. And I will say this too. It is nice to acknowledge other nonprofits in the community, but President Tim, I will say that the Rotary mission is something that we can never steer away from. We can always learn traits and characteristics of other nonprofit organizations, of the good work that they do in the community, but I also think that it is of utmost importance that we continue to drive point home why we exist and our areas of focus and our avenues as well. So at any moment, if anyone has a recommendation for a speaker, feel free to get in contact me via phone or email.
Thank you so much. Give that mic to Judy. I want to first start off by thanking Judy for this work. Two things. First, could you talk a little bit about the Alton Yates? I know we've got some students coming. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I'm very excited to have had Raul introduce that event. It's going to be on February 20th. And that's the Alton Yates interview, and he'll be the speaker. But what we have done is we have worked with Riverside High School and the Interact Club to bring at least 20 of the Interact Club members. Now we have close to 40 members in that club. So fun. And one of the biggest blessings that we have had is Colleen DeMond. And hopefully Colleen will come also. And she is the faculty advisor. who stepped forward last spring to recognize the Interact Club, having had interactions actually with Marshall Butler in the past. So anyway, we've got a really great emissary over there. And so what's going to happen is that we did get a Rotary District grant that funded field trips. And this is one of the field trips that is going to be funded. They're going to be transported here. They're going to eat lunch here with us, amongst us. So that's one of the questions I want to present to you, is we're not sure how it's going to work on the 20th, but I didn't want to have all the, tables only students. That if we, feel free to have one of you to sit in and to kind of infiltrate the groups and to let them know about what Rotary is, because we told them that they're part of a bigger thing. And this is their first opportunity to see the bigger thing that they're part of. And one of the biggest parts of it too is that they unfortunately have to leave at 1:15 because they all have to be back on campus by 1:30. So we're all gonna coordinate to try to get things rolling along so that can be done. But it's really exciting. We're putting together another field trip because we have to get all of these spendings on these grants in by the end of March. Okay. Those of you who haven't done a district grant in the past, that's kind of one of the requirements. And so, so anyway, we've got that. Are we good on that one?
You're good on that. Brought up what you're doing with the Interact Club. Great. You talked about the number of members you've got. You talked about the grants, how you're administering those grants. You have anything else you want to add with regard to the Interact Club?
We're going to right now, in order to further some of the initiatives of the Interact Club specifically that have come out of and on the other side of the district grant funds. I have put in for another kind of a supplemental grant to the district for some additional funds that might come their way over the next 2 months. And so if anyone has an opportunity or has the knowledge of it, wants to sign off and send that grant application on, that would be great. No, I think that's about it. We're funding just a lot of wonderful things. And they're going to put up 4 students towards RILA this year. So the 4 slots that you see for RILA designation are going to be offered to the Interact Club members. We'll keep you all informed as we go along. If those slots are not used, we expect that they will, or if there's some additional ones, in case there are members who have students, children, grandchildren, or whatever, who you think also might make a good RILA presentation. But right now, that's what our focus is as far as this protocol.
Thank you for all your great work. That's over $1 million, which is great. You did an outstanding job at Christmas party. Much of the energy we got to push us over came from the field of human marketing. But we still got a little bit of work to do with regard to Paul Harris Fellows. We've got 4 so far. I don't recall exactly how many we were targeting, but it was probably more than 10 and less than 20. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, thank you, President Chen. So first of all, on the $1 million goal, thank you all for stepping up and being generous and contributing to that goal. I had no doubt when I found out it was a $10,000 shortfall in addition to the regular contributions would get us there this year. I didn't have any doubt that that would happen. We had a goal of like, let's get it before Christmas. So I want to give a shout out to Marshall again, because I got to the Christmas party going, well, we're 8,000 toward the 10,000 goal. We're good. We'll get that before June. So, I was not that worried about it. I thought, well, it'll happen. And then, but it was Marshall who came up and said, oh, we're this close. We just got it. We can't leave here tonight without that. And so again, it was really his pushing that, which I was grateful for. So, but it's thank you for all your generosity. On the Paul Harris, yes, it was around 16 people to get us to 100%. I also will point out John Barley is the committee chair for the foundation And so he's really working on, contacting people and working on that list. So it was about 16, we're at 4. And I'm still figuring out, the whole point system. So some of you probably know a lot about that, or if you don't, there's points that people can contribute. So between, matching people's contributions with points and the whole points thing, I have no doubt that we'll be able to achieve that goal, by the end of the year.
We're coming up on the deadline for making grants for next year. It's going to be a topic on our board agenda next week. I don't know if you have any comment on it, if you have any thoughts on it. When I recruited you a year ago, it was the grant process of your job that you were keenly interested in.
Yeah.
We talked about the villages of hope. We weren't able to move that off the mark, but there's a lot of other things that we want to do. So I don't want to put you on the spot, but I know that you're passionate about it, and it's going to be on the board agenda for next week. What do you want to say?
Yeah, the one thing I'll say is that Villages of Hope idea, my thinking, again, just one member's opinion, but my thinking is that kind of goes back to growth as a club, attracting new members. Organizationally, it feels like to me, it makes sense if we could, as a club, rally around 1 or 2 projects. If we can be a club that's known for, hey, this club's really, like, I remember hearing the stories about the baseball, back in the days, like, hey, this club's really doing this and it's big and people want to be a part of something significant. Now I go to a club, the club, they do like 15 things that kind of make a difference. That's nice. But if we can find 1 or 2 things like this is what our club's really doing that's impacting this community and making a difference, I think that might appeal to people that want to be a part of a club like that. So that's kind of my thinking. And the Villages of Hope idea was like, well, this is human trafficking. It's such a big need. It's like polio. It's something that's solvable, but it's huge. So that's kind of where I was thinking with the Village of Hope. It's local. It's West Side. So that may or may not come together. But my heart would be to challenge the club to let's find something or a couple things, not 15 things, but a couple to really get grants for and make a difference. So that's a thought. We'll have to work on it.
Thank you for your words. Let's give them a round of applause. I guess one of the things I want to talk about with the area 6 president, I think that there's leverage and momentum that can be created through grants, but the timetables make it awkward. You've got the timetable of a president and a president-elect. You've got the timetable of the deadline, grants. You've got a different timetable for how you spend the money, the grant, get it reimbursed. And with all those timetables and volunteers trying to manage it can seem a little overwhelming. We can probably do a better job. And I'm not sure this is really a club issue as much as it might be a district issue. Maybe we can help one another leverage those dollars for the benefit of our.
Yes, and clubs do multiple clubs on grants, get special points.
I'm gonna get the Drew, but I saw it. My God, Steve.
Stephen Rowland, I'm one of the 4 people that did do the Paul Harris Fellow.
Yes.
And if you're one of the 12 that hasn't yet, I asked and found out that I was 500 short. And I only had to pay $250 because there was a matching. So if you haven't become a Paul Harris Fellow, ask and find out. It may be a lot more attainable than what you realize, so we can close the gap.
I appreciate you saying that. And what is nice to hear.
I just learned recently that people have recently left the club. We can call them and ask for their points. They can give us their points to the club. I didn't know that. I'm gonna call back and go. That's
We're gonna jot that down. I'm gonna jot that down right now. Drew, how you doing?
I'm good.
I don't want to put you on the spot. Your event is coming. You're gonna be working with Steve, and I'm so glad Steve is here.
You too. Good to see you, Steve.
It's gonna be big, it's gonna be a great time, it'll be a great show, and we'll do it right, we're gonna sell out the entire thing. So you can't count on your chest for what you've done already, but you're not in the game yet, but you're ready, you're in the batting block, you're ready. Can you just talk a little bit about how Home Rec is going to do, what it means,
Well, I'm gonna put Steve on the spot and ask him to come up and give some information, because he's really the driver behind this event. Everybody give Steve a big hand.
Well, Steve works for,
Great. Yeah, we're gonna have a great event. It's gonna be Thursday, April 24th. And it's the Carole King story, which it's my understanding, it's a fantastic play. And we were able to boldly go where we haven't gone before. We've committed to the entire facility for that night. So that means we've got about twice the number of seats to fill that we had last year. I'm gonna be getting together a plan to present to Ike and to President Tim. And I appreciate your patience. Obviously, this month's been a little bit unexpected. But we're gonna be presenting some plans for other clubs to consider as far as, you know, filling in so that we're not responsible for filling the whole place. But at the same time, we can have a all Rotary event. So that's coming. Of course, the people with the Alhambra, we've gotten some price information from them. And once again, they're, you know, pricing it in a way that it will allow us to make a lot of contributions to, I believe, to the qualifying students. So very excited about it. You'll be hearing a lot more about it very soon, but again, it's the evening of April 24th, and it's the Carole King show, Carole King story.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you very much. No, please.
Just real quick, I'm a guy, and I see
We never knew that.
Yeah. For all the guys that are, I see Carole King, I go, Carole King. I had to go, I was made to go to this show in New York. By far the best Broadway show I ever saw in New York. Yeah, this is a great show. Make sure you sign up and bring everybody you can.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
And if it's even half as good as the show last year, it's gonna be great. If you missed the show last year, you definitely have to go this year.
All right, well, great first half of the year. The socials have been outstanding. Christmas parties was a blast. You got this Orlick event coming up, and you got an intuition event coming up, and I think we have at least one more socials in the spring that we haven't yet planned for. So take a few minutes and sell them on intuition and Orlick.
Yeah, so, you know, a big focus, and this kind of goes back to the 550 cohort that we met back in the spring, trying to figure out or take a pulse on why, not just myself, but each and every member joined Rotary, because not everybody joined those reasons. So what's keeping them here? What can we do? What projects? What are their interests? A lot of good things came out of that. One of them was the Orlick, just, you know, obviously socials, trying to make them more exciting, trying to encourage people, because, you know, we want to focus on retention and growth. Bring people who are interested. These are our opportunities for that. And that's why we wanted to get outside of Timuquana a little bit. There's great, you know, events that we have here, but just what can we do to show people that we're not just doing the same thing over and over again. And so that's really been the focus this year. Then the Orlick, you know, we were talking, we don't do a lot of family events. This was a great opportunity for us to have a larger event, something that we could do to bring our families, because, you know, I don't know everybody's wife, children, husbands, things like that. It's a great time to do that, and also bring other potential members that might be interested and see that we're not just here focusing on meeting at Timuquana, but we're actually out in the community doing projects, taking an interesting approach and trying to give people what they want while focusing on service first. Is it March 5th? It's my sister's birthday. Yeah. It's
You should know that.
it's March 5th.
It will be in the Westford, and it's in March.
It's the 5th of March. It'll be from 4 to 7 p.m.
So,
Yeah, we'll get something out about that. It's gonna be, it should be quite interesting, right? You know, we'll have access to the ship. Mike, there's talk of a potential, can I even say that?
Yeah, say
A
it.
potential ice cream truck.
Yeah, we want to bring it.
You know, so, trying to step outside the box, but I think it'd be a great opportunity for us to get our families together and also, promote the club and I think growth.
Well, are you telling your sister this is the birthday party for her?
I wish, I wish, but yeah, I will invite her.
Thank you. We need to talk about and, of everything that we accomplished, and it's been tremendous. Club services kept me up. And it kept me up at night because there was a lot of change in the way we do business. We decided to move Stu, right? And Patty from the hallway into this dining. We lost 7 members right there. We decided we were gonna have this funny time. We decided we were gonna reconfigure the room sometimes. We decided that we were going to do a mid-year assembly. Take one, right lunch, and do what we're doing right now. These are the things that kept me up because I wasn't sure how the club would respond to. You all helped me with these ideas. So periodically, I would bring things like this week in Rotary history or this week in the history of Jacksonville. We had some other crazy ideas. We were gonna do ways. We were gonna play you jingles from commercials over time and have a contest to see who could recognize what the product was that they were selling. Basically, never got. One I'm trying to make is, I could not have done that without your support. They accepted it. They accepted it because of the support that I got from past president and your hard work. Give Dan a round of applause.
Excuse me. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the Christmas party. I thought it was a good evening. And thank you for stepping up and bringing all those toys, 2 carloads to Joe. And in a couple months, we'll start cleaning the president's party.
President's party. That's gonna be the best day of your life. Raul, do me a favor. Take this around, see if anybody has anything they want to ask. And, get us wrapped up.
I'm going to ask my Rotary brothers and sisters to give a big round of applause to our Club Avenue officers, along with President Tim Johnson. At this time, I will have a microphone on the floor, and we will go around for questions and answers. Past President Ed Lombard has a question.
Yeah, real quick, Judy, you said the event with the Riverside High School is June 20th. That's a Thursday. Is it the 19th or the 20th? That's a Thursday. No, I know you have a date. That's all I was asking. It's minor. So.
Okay, it's Wednesday the 19th.
Perfect. Thanks. This one is a recent fun. It's all that matters.
Mindful of time, because I know we're going to conclude at the bottom of the hour, so I think we have time for maybe one more question from the floor for our club officers as well as President Tim Johnson. I don't see any other hands up, Mr. President, so I'll send it back up to you at the podium.
All right. I thank these guys for going back to your seats. So please join me in thanking our banquet manager, Tiffany, the service staff, Joe Springer, Drew Bisbee, Dan Dodd, Terry Marine, Lee Davis, all run our program today. Finally, I want to remind you that our newest members, Emily Butler and Justin Keeley, are going to be coming here soon to be inducted. Hopefully, that'll be on the meeting after the 12th of February. We've got no lunch meeting next week. We're gonna have a social nail downtown.
That's all I'm thinking of.
February 6th, 5:30 to 7:30.
I don't think that.
And we're on deck on the 19th. Our greeters, Pierce Patoni with our greeters, Mike Tumbler will be prayer. Bill Wallace, four-way test day. So I think I've done it all. Our speaker for the 26th of February is Ruth Bowling from Advent Health. And obviously on the 19th, we're gonna be live from the home of Alton Yates. Please stand. Is Scott Hennigan in? Scott, you know, all right.
Not- That's not the same. That's an email. Truth. The fair to all concerned. Will build goodwill and better friendships. Beneficial to all concerned.
Thank you, everybody. This report, I will send you via email, so you got a copy of it. And let's get out there and make some magic. Have a great rest of your week.
Hey, Raul, good job up there. Thanks.
And if we can't live stream it,
Yeah.
then our backup, we can bring him here. I mean, I'll be his transport.
Okay.
But President Tim planted the seed that he thinks we can just deliver another feed. But if we can't test it out in advance, then I would say we'll just bring him here on site.
Tell you what a good idea would be, while you're at work one day, see if you can set something up at your office that you could do similar to what we're doing.
Take care, John.
Okay.
Easy, Dan, good. That time.
Thank you, Steve.
So is that gonna help? Help another chance?
I have to read upon the